Imagine the scene. It's a Monday night, October 12th, 1964. We're in Elmira, New York.
Right.
And the air's getting cool, you know, that specific kind of crispness you only get in mid-October. The leaves are probably skittering across the pavement outside a quiet house.
And inside that house, in the living room, a woman named Jane Roberts is sitting there.
Yeah.
And she is feeling off.
Odd. That's the specific word she used in the notes,
Yeah.
right? Just odd.
And not I ate a bad sandwich kind of way. This was something else, a premonition type of odd.
Exactly. She can't sleep. She tried to lie down at 7:30, hoping to just drift off, but her mind it's just racing. Or maybe not racing, but waiting. It's poised.
And she tells her husband, Rob, that she has absolutely no idea what is about to happen.
No idea at all. She has no clue what's about to come out of her mouth.
And that, for me, that is one of the most chilling parts of this whole phenomenon. This isn't someone sitting down to write a novel, where they control the characters, where they outline the plot. This is an act of total surrender. She's the antenna, not the broadcaster.
Perfectly put. And then the ritual begins. It's almost 9:00 p.m. She takes her glasses off.
And for anyone who follows the Seth Material, that's the signal.
That's the on-air light, yeah. Her eyes go dark. And not just like lights off dark, but functionally, visually darker. Her whole posture changes. She settles in.
And when she opens her mouth, it's not Jane anymore. The voice is deeper. The pacing is slower, deliberate, almost struggling with the weight of the concepts.
It is Seth.
And tonight, for this deep dive, we are looking specifically at Session 96 of the Early Sessions Book 3 of the Seth Material.
And I have to say, looking at the transcript for this specific night, Seth was not interested in small talk.
No. He wasn't asking about the weather. He wasn't easing into it.
Not at all. He went straight for the jugular of what we consider reality.
Before we descend into the madness, and I mean that with the utmost affection and respect for the material, because it really does dismantle your sanity in the best way, we should probably make our standard disclaimer.
We should, just so everyone is absolutely clear. This deep dive is distributed free of charge on all major platforms for educational purposes.
Right.
We are not selling a religion here. We are not asking you to join a cult or, sign over your bank account.
We are exploring a document, a very strange, very compelling document that challenges, well, everything.
Our mission today is to peel back the curtain, and I mean really peel it back until we see the brick wall behind the stage.
So if you're driving, please keep your eyes on the road, but let your mind drift a little.
Yeah, because we're going to look at the Seth perspective on God, the absolute illusion of what you think of as time, and the terrifyingly vast concept he calls the spacious present.
This is a little bit of cosmic horror, isn't it?
Oh, it totally is. It's like H.P. Lovecraft meets quantum physics.
But in the best possible way. I mean, it's only horror because it threatens the ego. It threatens that little part of you that wants everything to be small and manageable and linear.
I mean, the idea that our reality, everything we see, this microphone, the coffee cup, the traffic outside, is just one channel on a radio that has infinite stations.
And we just happen to have a broken dial that's stuck on this one frequency.
Right. And we're absolutely convinced that the song playing on our station is the only music in the universe.
We fight wars over which lyrics are correct, never realizing there are a billion other songs playing in the very same room.
Exactly. And Seth is basically the guy who comes in, smashes the radio, and says, listen to the static, there are voices in there.
It's not just ghost stories, though. What really strikes me about Session 96 is that it's a metaphysical deconstruction of everything we take for granted.
Everything. Religion, physics, biology.
It's all on the chopping block tonight. Nothing is safe.
I am particularly excited, or maybe terrified, I haven't quite decided yet, to get to the part about the Holy Ghost.
Oh, the Trinity. That is a heavy hitter.
Yeah, I mean, the part where he explains that the Holy Ghost is basically just a psychological projection of our own internal confusion. I remember reading that and just staring at the wall for 10 minutes straight.
It's a radical reinterpretation of theology, for sure. But we have to start where Seth starts. And in this session, he starts with time.
Or the lack of it.
Or the lack of it, yeah.
So, Jane, as Seth starts speaking, the voice is deep, the room is quiet, and the first thing he throws out there is this bombshell. There is no one reality. There are many, in fact, infinite realities.
And then he follows it with a knockout punch.
There is no beginning and end.
Boom. There it is.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because my human brain, and probably your brain listening to this, likes beginnings.
Loves them.
I like knowing the movie starts at 8-0 and ends at 10-0. I like knowing I was born in a specific year. I like knowing my workday ends at 5-0. Seth is saying that is all. It what? Fake, just a story we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
Not fake,
Yeah.
necessarily, but distorted, highly distorted. He says, and I'm quoting here, "It is only from your own perspective that you think in terms of beginning and end."
From our perspective.
Right. Think about why we obsess over beginnings. Why do we need a creation myth? Why do we need Big Bang Theory? Why are we so obsessed with how did it all start?
Because cause and effect is how we survive.
Exactly.
If I don't know the beginning of the fire was the match I just dropped, I burn the house down. If I don't know that eating the weird berries makes me sick later, well, I die.
Precisely. It's a survival mechanism for this specific camouflage reality. We have what Seth calls self-adopted limitations.
Self-adopted, so we chose this.
In a way, we view linear time past, present, future as an absolute law of the universe, like gravity. But Seth views it as more of a local custom.
Like driving on the right side of the road.
That's a great analogy. It applies here, sure. But if you go to a different country, or in this case, a different reality, that rule is totally meaningless. If you try to drive on the right side of the road in London, you crash.
And if you try to bring time into the spacious present, you crash.
You crash.
He uses that phrase, the spacious present. I love that imagery. It sounds like a really nice hotel room.
Welcome to the spacious present. Enjoy your stay.
Yeah, exactly. We have a pool and a continental breakfast.
It's a little bit bigger than a hotel room.
Just a bit.
It implies that all time exists simultaneously. Imagine a massive canvas, a mural that stretches for miles and miles. Every moment of your life, every moment of history, every potential future, it's all painted on that canvas at the same time.
This is all there.
All of it. And you are just holding a tiny flashlight, moving it across the dark surface. You think time is moving because your little light is moving. You say, oh, look, I just walked from the tree to the house.
But the tree and the house were both there on the canvas the whole time.
Simultaneously. The painting isn't changing. Only your focus is.
Okay, hold on. That actually gives me vertigo.
It should.
Because it means the argument I had 5 years ago is still happening. Right now, and my death is also already happening.
That is the correct response.
Yeah.
Seth says realities merge one into the other. He talks about personalities passing through realities. The analogy that comes to my mind is water. If you have two currents of water merging, where does one begin and the other one end?
You can't tell. It's just water. It's all wet.
Right. He says the appearance of energy in one form could be said to end in that form were it not for the existence of the spacious present.
Meaning nothing ever truly ends.
It just moves out of your flashlight's beam. When a wave crashes on the shore, the water doesn't cease to exist.
It just pulls back into the ocean.
It's reabsorbed.
So if I die, I'm not ending. I'm just flowing into a part of the canvas I couldn't see before.
You're shifting your attention. And this leads to the most brain-melting part of the session for me.
Oh, yeah.
The mechanics of creation. Because if there is no beginning, how did any of this get here? That's the logical trap our brains immediately fall into.
Oh, this is the contraction and expansion stuff. I had to read this section 3 times.
Me too.
It felt like I was reading a physics textbook written by a poet.
Yes. Seth is trying to explain how the universe, or what he calls the primary energy gestalt, came to be. He says it resulted from an expansion.
Which resulted from a contraction of energy.
Right.
Okay, so far so good. That sounds like the Big Bang. A contraction into a singularity, dense and hot, then a massive expansion outward. That feels familiar. I can wrap my head around that.
It does feel familiar. It's deceptively familiar. But then he pulls the rug out.
Right out from under you.
He says, because of the unique attributes inherent in the spacious present, there simply was not an initial or first contraction or expansion.
Wait, so there was an expansion that was caused by a contraction, but the contraction never actually started.
It just is. It is always happening. Imagine an explosion that is frozen in time, but also constantly exploding and also never happened all at once.
My head hurts.
Because if time doesn't exist, before doesn't exist, you can't have a first anything if you don't have linear time.
First implies a second?
It implies a sequence. In the spacious present, the heartbeat of the universe is a single, sustained note that contains the contraction and the expansion simultaneously.
He is describing a state of being that is basically a verb without a subject, just expanding.
And he admits the difficulty. He explicitly apologizes for the limitations of language.
Yeah, he does.
He says, I will not say that there was a beginning simply in order to make the material appear more logical. He refuses to dumb it down for us.
Which is so refreshing.
It is. He's saying, look, I could lie to you. I could say, in the beginning, God created the heavens because that fits your linear brain. It makes a nice story. But it's not true.
I really respect that. I mean, usually gurus love simple answers. It's all love or it's all karma. Seth is like, no, it's a paradox you aren't equipped to understand yet, but let's try.
It forces us to stretch.
Uh,
It forces us to realize that our questions, when did it start, are the wrong questions. It's like asking, what does the color blue taste like?
or how heavy is sadness?
Right. The question itself is flawed because it relies on a framework that doesn't apply to the reality of the situation.
So if there's no beginning and no, old man in the sky checking his watch, what is God? Because Seth talks about this primary energy gestalt, and frankly, that doesn't sound very cuddly.
It does not.
Yeah.
And this is a crucial pivot in the session.
Yeah.
He moves away from the word God pretty deliberately.
Yeah, he prefers primary energy gestalt.
It sounds very sci-fi, like something from Star Trek.
Totally. Captain, we're detecting a primary energy gestalt off the port bow.
But it's very precise. Gestalt means a whole that is greater than the sum of its parts. Seth describes this thing as something that straddles all realities. It contains infinite diversity. It's not a person. It's a field. It's a collection.
But here's the kicker. He says there's no dominating personality.
That is the key distinction. That's the radical part. Most human religions are hierarchical. Absolutely. Think about it. You have the king, the Lord, the Father. And we are the subjects, the children, the sheep. It's a dictatorship, essentially. A benevolent one, hopefully, but it's a structure of command and control. Thou shalt do this, thou shalt not do that.
Right. You do what the boss says, you follow the commandments, or you get fired. Or smited.
Smited, I think. But Seth is describing a network, a systemic view. He says in this gestalt there are literally numberless personalities, and none of them are submissive to a top dog.
No CEO of the universe.
None. It is a collective consciousness of unimaginable scale. It works because of cooperation, not coercion.
So God isn't a he, God is a we.
A we that is so unified it acts as one, but is composed of infinite individuals. It's closer to a hive mind, but without the loss of individuality. You don't lose yourself in the gestalt, you become more yourself. The more you are you, the more you contribute to the all.
That is a beautiful concept. It makes me feel less small, I'm not a subject, I'm a node in the network.
A vital node.
But then he goes after the Trinity. And this is where things get really interesting for anyone raised in a Christian tradition.
Oh, yes. He dissects the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost with surgical precision.
And he doesn't say it's wrong. Exactly. He doesn't say, you idiots, you got it all wrong.
No, he's more subtle than that. He says it's a projection.
A projection of human psychology. Specifically, he says, male psychology, which, as a guy, I find hilarious and slightly insulting.
Yes. He points out that the Trinity is an overwhelmingly masculine concept. And what does a man feel, according to Seth?
Duality. A split.
He feels a split.
Okay, break that down for me. How does a man feel duality?
Okay, so look at the life cycle of a man in that era, or really any era. First, a man is a son. He has a father. He knows what it's like to be the offspring, the one who has to obey or rebel. He knows the weight of authority pressing down on him.
Right. Everyone has been a child. We all know what it's like to look up at a giant and hope they don't step on us.
Then, if he's lucky, he grows up. He becomes a father. He becomes the authority, the external power. So he understands those two roles intimately, the authority and the subordinate.
Father and son.
Father and son. Those are external roles he plays out in the world. He acts them out every day.
Okay, that covers 2/3 of the Trinity. Father and son. The external relationships. What about the Holy Ghost?
Ah, that's the third part. The part inside him. The inner self. The part of you that's listening to this deep dive right now, the observer behind your eyes.
The silent witness.
Exactly. That part isn't a father. It isn't a son. It isn't a role or a job title. It's just you. The lonely, isolated inner spark that nobody else can ever truly see.
And that is the Holy Ghost.
According to Seth, yes. He says, and I'm quoting again, he feels that part or inner self which cannot be seen by another, which is neither father nor son. It's the ghost in the machine.
So because we felt the split inside ourselves, I'm a father, I'm a son, but I'm also this weird ghost inside my own head, we painted that split onto the canvas of the universe and called it God.
We looked at the sky and saw a mirror.
Wow.
Exactly. Seth says, man forms his God in his own image. And the irony, he points out, is that in part, this image is true.
How so?
Because we are part of the Gestalt, our psychological structure mimics the structure of the universe in a tiny, distorted way. but we mistook the map for the territory.
We thought the specific drama of human masculinity was the drama of the entire cosmos.
It's chillingly insightful. It makes religion feel less like a divine revelation and more like a desperate attempt to understand our own psychology.
Like we were trying to do therapy on ourselves by inventing a theology.
Externalizing a division he feels within himself. That is the exact quote. We felt broken, or at least divided, so we decided God must be divided in the same way. If we're split, the Creator must be split.
Talk about an ego trip. God must be just like me, but bigger and with a beard.
It is the ultimate anthropomorphism. But Seth isn't saying this to mock us. He's showing us how our perception shapes our reality. We project outward what we feel inward. We can't help it.
It's how we build our world.
It's how we build our world.
So speaking of building our world, we have this massive, timeless energy gestalt. We have infinite realities, so why can't we see them? Why am I stuck seeing this studio and you and not, I don't know, the fourth dimensional library that is occupying this exact same space? Why is my view so boring?
This brings us to the concept of camouflage data.
Camouflage, okay. That implies something is hiding.
Seth loves this term. He argues that our outer senses, our eyes, our ears, our sense of touch, are not windows to the absolute truth.
Which is what we think they are.
Right. We think seeing is believing, but Seth says they're filters. They are, and this is his phrase, blinders by design.
So my eyes aren't helping me see, they're actively stopping me from seeing.
They are helping you see this specific layer of reality and blocking out all the others. Think of it like a VR headset.
Okay.
When you put on a VR headset, it blocks out your living room so you can see the game. If you see the living room and the game at the same time, you'd be completely confused. You'd walk into a wall. You wouldn't be able to function in the game.
Or I'd just go insane. The data input would be way too high. It would be total sensory overload.
Right. Our senses are camouflage equipment. They're tuned to perceive physical matter, time, and space. Seth says, you simply do not have the camouflage equipment to perceive the other planes.
You're trying to pick up FM radio with a toaster.
It's just not built for it. He uses this analogy of being a deep-sea fish. I love this.
Oh, yeah.
If you're built for the pressure and darkness at the bottom of the ocean, you cannot understand fire.
Right.
It isn't that fire doesn't exist. Fire is very real. But your sensory equipment has no way to process it. If someone told you about fire, you'd think they were completely insane. What do you mean anti-water that burns?
Seth says, in the same space and time that you at this moment occupy, there are numberless planes of reality. They're right here.
Passing through us right now.
And we're passing through them. But because we don't have the receiver for their signal, they are invisible to us. And we are invisible to them.
It changes how you look at an empty room.
It's not empty.
It's just tuned out.
That is the part that gets me. We're invisible to them, too.
Generally, yes. They have their own camouflage systems. It's like two ghosts walking through each other in a hallway, neither knowing the other one is there. We're ghosts to them, and they are ghosts to us.
But then, Rob, Jane's husband, asks this question during the break. And I love Rob for this because he's always trying to connect the metaphysics to something tangible. He's the anchor.
He is.
He asks about flying saucers.
Of course he does. The classic 1964 question. UFOs were huge in the cultural zeitgeist then. Everyone was looking at the skies.
He asks, do flying saucer people find Earth by tuning into our dream world first?
It's a brilliant speculation. He's asking if there's a back door. If you can't see the front door because of the camouflage, can you sneak in through the window of our subconscious?
Can you hack the signal?
Can you hack the signal?
And what does Seth say? Does he say, yes, Rob, the Martians are coming?
He confirms the mechanism. He doesn't explicitly confirm, yes, the little green men are here, but he validates the logic. He says that planes are blocks from each other unless you use the inner senses.
Which implies that if aliens are visiting, they aren't traveling through space in a tin can.
No.
They aren't burning rocket fuel. They're traveling through dimensions by shifting their frequency.
Exactly. They're tuning their VR headset to channel Earth. They're shifting their camouflaged data to match ours. They're changing their vibration to become visible to our sensors.
This leads us directly into the dream world. Because if there's a backdoor to reality, Seth seems to think dreaming is it.
This is one of the most practical and, frankly, unsettling parts of the session. We tend to think of dreams as unsubstantial.
Fluff.
Yeah, fluff. Brain garbage processing the day's events.
I eat too much pizza, so I dreamt of a giant cheese monster chasing me through a high school I haven't been to in 20 years.
Right. We dismiss it. But Seth rejects that dismissal completely. He says the dream world is as permanent as your own.
As permanent as this world, as permanent as this table.
Yes. He uses the shadow analogy. He says, we project a dream world like a shadow. But, and here's the twist, just because you turn out the light or wake up doesn't mean the shadow world vanishes.
It continues to exist.
It continues to exist.
Wait a minute. When I wake up, the me in the dream world, is he still there? Is he wondering where I went?
The implication is that the reality of that plane persists. You've withdrawn your conscious focus, you've taken the flashlight away, but the place you visited, it's real. It is a valid plane of existence. It has its own rules, its own physics, its own inhabitants.
So we are leading double lives. We aren't just sleeping. We are commuting to a second job.
At least double, probably multiple. Seth says, on an unconscious level, you here manipulate in another plane of existence entirely.
That is terrifying. I mean, I have some weird dreams. I would hate to think I'm actually responsible for what I do there. If I rob a bank in a dream, am I a criminal in that dimension?
Well, Seth would say you are manipulating energy. You are creating events. And he ties it directly to biology, which I find fascinating.
Me too.
He says dreaming isn't just psychological. It is a biological necessity caused by chemical poisons.
Chemical poisons? That sounds so dramatic, like we're toxic.
He's talking about the buildup of metabolites in the body, the waste products of being awake. He says that the chemical and electrical construction of the body forces us to dream.
It creates a doorway.
It creates a doorway. If we didn't dream, these chemicals would actually kill us.
So we're not just sleeping to rest our muscles, we're sleeping because we build up this chemical charge that literally blasts our consciousness into another dimension.
That is the Seth take on it. He calls them biological doorways. He says biology isn't just for keeping the body alive, it's a mechanism for multidimensional travel.
We are built to leave.
They're designed to escape this reality every single night. The body produces the fuel for the trip.
It makes you look at sleep so differently. It isn't a pause button, it's a commute. It's a stargate.
A commute to a place where ideas are solid objects.
This was the conceptual energy force reality. Try saying that 5 times fast.
It sounds like a progressive rock album from the 70s.
It really does.
This is a specific plane Seth mentions near the end of the session. He describes a world where thoughts aren't abstract. Here, if I have an idea for a chair, I have to get wood and nails and build it. I have to force matter to match my idea.
Right.
In this conceptual reality, the idea is the construction.
Manipulated force.
Yes. He says matter is not the end result there. The manipulated force of the concept is the end result. It is a world of solid thoughts. You think a chair, and the energy forms a chair instantly.
It sounds like something out of The Matrix or Inception, a place where architecture is just pure will.
A place for architects and artists.
And this is where the session starts to fray at the edges. You can feel the strain in the text. You can almost hear the static increasing on the line.
Yeah, Seth ends it abruptly. It's only 10:30 p.m. Usually they go longer. They go until midnight sometimes.
And he says why. He explicitly says, I am going to end the session somewhat earlier. An effort is involved here.
He's trying to translate these concepts that literally do not exist in our language, into English words.
Yeah.
It's like trying to download the entire internet onto a floppy disk.
That's a great analogy.
He talks about the difficulty of avoiding distortions. He's trying to explain a color we've never seen, using only black and white paint. It's exhausting for the medium Jane, and seemingly difficult for the energy personality, too. The connection gets unstable.
And Jane's reaction confirms it. She says she was more fully dissociated than usual. She was gone. She wasn't just in the back seat, she was out of the car.
Which brings us right back to that eerie Monday night vibe. The glasses go back on, the eyes lighten up, but the room feels different. The air in Elmira feels different.
It has to. I mean, once you've been told that time is a lie and you're a multidimensional traveler, you can't really just go back to watching TV.
No.
You can't just make a cup of tea and pretend the universe is normal.
No. You've seen the wires behind the puppet show. You've seen that the set is made of cardboard. And you realize the puppet master is you.
So let's synthesize this deep dive, because we've covered a lot of ground, and I want to make sure we don't lose the forest for the trees here.
We have established that. 1, reality is infinite, and our view of it is tragically limited by our senses.
Right, camouflage.
2, time is the spacious present. No beginning, no end, just now. Everything is happening at once.
Which is still hurting my brain.
3, God is a primary energy gestalt, a collective, not a king, a network of consciousness.
4, the Trinity is a human projection of our own internal split. We created God in our image.
And 5, dreams are valid, permanent realities that we visit via biological stargates. We are travelers.
It is a lot to take in. It really shifts your perspective on, well, everything. It makes your daily problems seem smaller and your existence seems so much bigger.
And that's the point. I don't think Seth is trying to give you a new belief system. He isn't saying, believe this and you'll be saved. He's trying to snap you out of the trance of this system.
He's trying to wake you up.
He's trying to wake you up.
So if you're listening to this and you want to go deeper, and you absolutely should because we've only scratched the surface, and frankly, my explanations are nothing compared to the original text, you need to go to the source.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Do not take our word for it. Read the actual sessions. This was session 96 from the Early Sessions Book 3. You can find these books and a mountain of other material at sethcenter.com/year-early sessions.
The publisher is the New Awareness Network. They are doing the heavy lifting of keeping this material in print and accessible. So go buy a book. It's better than any sci-fi novel you'll read this year.
And it might just change your life. It's certainly weirder than any sci-fi novel.
Or at the very least, it'll change your dreams.
You might start paying attention to what you're building when you close your eyes.
Which brings us to our final thought. We talked about camouflage. We talked about how our eyes are designed to block out other realities so we can function here.
Right, the blinders.
So here's the question I want to leave you with tonight. If we created this specific camouflage, if we put on these specific blinders, what is it that we are so desperately trying not to see?
That's the question, isn't it? Perhaps we're hiding from our own power. Or perhaps we're hiding from the overwhelming chaos of infinity. Maybe we just wanted a quiet place to rest for a while, away from the noise of the all.
Think about that tonight when you close your eyes.
And pay attention to where you go.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive.